All right, so I had to pick up a lady, and I picked her up before. I picked her up probably maybe 4 times since I've worked at this company, right? So, but I haven't picked her up in a long time. It's been probably about 4 or 5 months since she's been on my schedule. So, I give her a call the night before, let her know, like, hey, this is what time I'm coming to get you, da 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 da. So, anytime I picked her up in the past, she always has a caretaker that rides with her, some African woman, and we can just never get along. Like, she always got an attitude. I am going to remain professional no matter what, but sometimes you got to deal with other people who are not, right? So she's always giving an attitude, and I make everybody sit in the back. I don't want nobody sitting up front with me. I treat this like an Uber, get in the back. She always be trying to sit up front, and I'm just like, man, come on, bro, just get in the back with your person, right? So we've had run-ins in the past. And the last time we had a run-in, I asked her name because I was going to report her for not being professional. She refused to give me her name. So then I was like, all right, man, I'd call my dispatcher, like, don't give them to me no more because me and her will have a problem, right? So, like I said, I haven't had her in like 4 or 5 months. I don't know how they wound up on my schedule, but they're back on. As soon as I pull up and her and that same caretaker come outside, I look at the caretaker and I say, hey, listen, we're going to have a good day today. Whatever was in the past, leave it in the past. Are you good today? Because I'm good. I know I ain't seen y'all in a while. So I'm basically just letting them know, don't get in my van starting that shit, right? So she goes, oh, no, everything's good. I can't do the accent. But if I could do an African accent, it'll be, everything's good. I'll be on good behavior. That sounds Indian. Everything's good. That sounds like a slave. Okay, well, let me just hold on. I really want to get it. Everything's good. No. Everything's good. I'll be on good behavior today. The fuck was that? Whatever. If you know somebody with an African accent, do it. But anyway, so she claims she's gonna be on good behavior. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I let them in the van. Boom. I dropped them off at the doctor's appointment. Everybody knows that when you work for this company, they give you business cards with your name and your number on it. So you give it to the people. They call you when they're done, so you can go back and get them. So I handed her my card. Now the lady who I pick up, who's in a wheelchair, she doesn't have a cell phone. Right? She still has a landline, so that should let you know she's older, right? So I gave the card to the caretaker because she has a cell phone. So I'm like, hey, just give me a call when y'all are done. I'll come back. So she said, okay. They get out. I go about the rest of my schedule. Next thing you know, a random number's calling me, but it's saying like the hospital name is calling me. And I'm like, why would a hospital be calling me? So I didn't answer. And then they called 2 more times. So I'm like, oh shoot, let me answer. So I answer it, and the lady goes, hey, I'm just letting you know such and such is ready. So I'm like, okay, it's the people that I dropped off. And I'm just like, why didn't the caretaker just call me? You know what I mean? But I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm glad I answered because it was the hospital's name, which was strange. But I'm like, whatever, who cares? Boom, I go back and get them. They had another trip going to the pharmacy to pick up her medicine. So I take them there. The caretaker's like, I'll just run in and get the medicine real quick. It makes no sense to unstrap her and do all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. She runs in. While she's in the store, the lady in the back taps me on my shoulder because I'm up here on my phone. She taps me on my shoulder. I'm like, what's up? She's like, I just want to let you know I was done with my doctor's appointment. She was being messy, but I was done with my doctor's appointment. We was outside the building waiting, and I looked at my caretaker, and I said, call the driver. She gonna look at me and say, I'm not calling the driver. I don't know if that's the accent, but I like it. I'm not calling the driver because I don't want her to have my number. I don't want my number in her phone. What? So, bitch, you must want to stand out here in 90-degree weather because if you don't call me, I don't know when to come back and get you. But it's a simple fact that she didn't want my number in her phone. Bitch, what you think I'm going to do with your number? Like my phone rings a million times a day. I have to give people my number for me to come back and get them. I don't call these people for personal reasons. So I'm like, okay. So it pissed me off a little bit, I'm not going to lie, because now you're discriminating on me. You think just because I wear a hat and I look like a boy and I dress like a boy that I'm going to mess with you? Like I'm going to keep your number and say, ooh, I'm going to keep this for later and holla at her. And then first of all, for you to even think that a person who looks like you and a person who looks like me would talk to a person who looks like you is beyond me. It's like, so the lady in the back said, why don't you want her to have your number? And she goes, I don't want her having I know she likes girls and I don't want her to have my number. And then, so the lady in the wheelchair was trying to defend me. She was like, girl, I can already look at that driver and tell she don't want you. And you can't afford her because she looks expensive. She said I looked expensive. Now, I don't know what about me make me look expensive, but thank you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, wheelchair, bitch. You know what I mean? But anyway, so So now I'm tight. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sensitive, you know? So it made me feel away. Because first of all, it's like, bitch, you think I would talk to you? So my blood was boiling. Mind you, Shorty who said all this is still in the store. So as she's walking towards the van, something was like, kill it, just let it go. Go about your day. Who care about these old people and their problems? Just go about their day. And then part of me was like, no, I'm gonna say something, because there's no way in hell you think somebody who looks like me would talk to you. I was offended by that. I'm not offended that you were discriminating against me, because that happens all the time. You dig what I'm saying? I gotta take my hat off before I go in the women's room. Sometimes I just use the men's room, bitch, because I'm tired of explaining to these old white bitches I'm a woman too. So anyway, so she comes out, she gets in the van, and I'm looking at her, and for the first 5 minutes of the ride, I didn't say nothing. But man, I couldn't stop from spewing it. So we stopped at a red light. I turned the radio down. I looked in the rearview mirror. I said, hey, let me get one thing straight right now. So everybody's at attention because I'm serious. And I'm like, listen, I don't care about what y'all got going on or whatever. I said, it's my job to pick you up and take you to your doctor's appointment. Didn't I do that? Didn't I get you there safely? I'm like, so why didn't you call me and say y'all were done? I'm like, the time you took to roll her back up in the hospital to find a receptionist to call me when you could have just called me on your phone, I could have got here much quicker. Here goes the African woman. What are you talking about? I don't know what that sounds Afghanistan. I don't know. What are you talking about? I didn't say that. She copping a plea. I'm from New York, baby. I can tell when somebody copping a plea, right? She copping a plea. I didn't say that. I didn't. My voice is doing all types of shit, so just bear with me. I didn't say that. I didn't. Gibberish, right? Lady in the wheelchair. Yes, the fuck you did. You said that shit. Now you trying to act like you didn't say that shit? African woman. You a liar. You a fucking liar. I didn't say shit. Now they going at it. Mind you, I just said, woman. I said, what you think I was going to do with your number? I said, as soon as you would have called me and said y'all was ready, I would have deleted that shit out of my call history. Anybody trying to keep your number? Right? So now all three of us are going at it. Mind you, this is all on camera. If my boss want to go back and watch the footage, just make sure you get some popcorn, bitch. But anyway, so I'm like, listen, I don't have time. I said, I'm gonna bring y'all home, and then I'm just gonna call my dispatcher and say, don't give y'all to me no more. I said, because because you could easily lie on me and say I tried to holler at you, or you know, like I could really get in trouble because I can already tell that this woman is a liar, and I gotta protect myself and my job. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm glad everything be on camera, right? So I'm like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I've never did anything inappropriate. I've never said anything inappropriate. I just gave you my number and said, call me when y'all done, right? I don't know what she's talking about. All she does is lie. So the woman in the wheelchair looks back and says, bitch, did you just call me a liar? She's like, yes, I did. You're always fucking lying. You're always fucking lying. I kid you not, lady in the wheelchair takes off her seatbelt. I said, ma'am, you can't take off your seatbelt. I'm driving. She takes off her seatbelt. She goes, bitch, call me a liar one more time, and I swear to God, I'm going to punch you in your goddamn face. And I look back, I said, homie, you might want to stop, because one thing I've learned is people in wheelchairs have upper body strength like a fucking bodybuilder, bitch. I've never seen this shit before in my life. Like, you know, listen, I don't know. You know, like how a blind person, all their other senses are like times 10 because you lose one and the other ones are just like hyperactive. There's something about people in wheelchairs, bitch, that they got a grip. And so, you know, I had seen a few wheelchair fight videos on TikTok, and Google it. And I just was like, you know, they got a punch, bitch. So when I look back, I saw the little African one. I could tell she couldn't take that woman's punch. I could already tell off top. Like, you're not going to survive this, right? So, and I can't have this going on in my van. Mind you, I'm driving. There hasn't been no red light in sight. It's like now all of a sudden all the lights is green, bitch. Because I'm trying to get at least a red light so I could stop and try to like wave them and try to jump back there if I need to, like whatever. And then it's like, I know what you're thinking, you could have pulled over, but baby, in my mind, it was like, get these bitches out of this van as fast as possible, right? But anyway, so I'm trying to keep them from putting hands on each other. You know what I mean? Because that could be very bad for all of us. So I said, man, you got to put your seatbelt on. So she does put her seatbelt on. It was off for like 2 seconds. I'm not going to lie. But she no, and it wasn't even off. She act like she was going to take it off. She was firm. She was capping, but this video is about to end, so I don't know if I should make a part 2 or not. But how do you like the accent, first of all? Because I really want to get better at those. And let me know if I hit anything close to an African good night, maybe. Good day. Do they say that? I don't know. Anyway, but long story short, I dropped them off. I got them off my van, and I'm praying to the Lord Jesus above in heaven that I never see them bitches again. Because I was just trying to do my job, baby. And it turned into World War III in the back of this man. Now, nobody put hands on each other. Let's make that very clear in case, you know, authorities is watching. Nobody put their hands on each other. I maintained and controlled the situation. But just because I'm a stud, it don't mean I like all women. Let's get that straight. Half of y'all be looking like bird shit.